Been waiting for you. Been waiting for you.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Chris from Castle Tech, back again with another video, and today we are going to review the Google Home. Now the Google Home is something I've wanted to review for a while because I think it is an amazing product on one hand, but on the other, it's got its quirks. So that being said, there's a lot to talk about and I can't wait to start, so let's give it a go. And in typical Google fashion, you are given a pretty minimalist box. The box itself says, Home Voice Activated Speaker by Google, which is pretty simplistic in look. It gives you an example of sample phrases, so Play Music by Sia is one of them, and then just simple questions, set reminders, and turn on certain smart devices you have connected around your home. Now, one thing that I use my Google Home for almost exclusively is for music. So you can control music, services and different types of music devices from your Google Home, which I find really, really useful. And then, of course, connect to different smart devices around your home, as I was mentioning earlier. And you have the Far Field voice recognition, which is probably the most advanced feature of this device. So I can be downstairs about 50 feet away from my room with the door open and be able to give this thing commands, be able to play music, turn on my lights, do stuff like that, which is incredible. It's got extremely sensitive microphones, which I think, gives it a little bit of an edge. The Chromecast capabilities, obviously, this is a Google device. You can use Chromecast. I simply tell my Google Home to play the latest, for example, let's say like Magikarp used Fly or something along those lines, like a favorite YouTuber that you follow, and it'll go ahead and pull it up on your TV and play it. You don't have to turn on anything, it'll do it all for you via HDMI input. It's really, really useful, and I use it all the time. These are the current music things that are covered or, compatible at the moment. So you have YouTube Music. If you have YouTube Red, you're able to use this service. Pandora, Google Play Music, TuneIn, the Chromecast works just fine. Nest, you have the Philips Hue lights is what I use, and then you have SmartThings, which, if I'm not mistaken, is an iOS thing. So yeah, that's pretty much the rundown of the outside of the box. It's pretty straightforward, gives you a little bit of an idea as to what you're getting yourself into. But now we go ahead and get into the box. Okay, so I'm going to open that, and this is what it looks like once you get the sleeve off. And it actually looks very nice. It's got this little strap thing that you're going to go ahead and pull. And here we go. Ready? Moment of truth. 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! It's empty. And the reason why it's empty is because my unit is right over here. So that's how it would come looking. I mean, a little bit nicer. It's not sitting right in there because the charger is actually hooked up to the wall for the demo. So that's how that looks in there. It comes with a little pamphlet that pretty much just tells you more of the stuff that was already on the outside of the box. So that's the only thing that comes in it with the unboxing portion. So that's it. A fairly nice, decently constructed box. They don't really, cheap out, but it's fairly minimalist at the same time. Kind of classic Google, if you ask me. So that's that, and here's the unit itself. Now, the unit itself is aesthetically, it's not my favorite. It's not bad, but I kind of wish they would have gone with something a little bit more like Alexa, something that's a little bit more cylinder-esque looking. To me, this is like some odd teardrop, weird 30-degree angle sliced off portion at the top. I don't know. I don't know why they chose this exact look. I mean, it's interesting. It kind of looks like an air freshener to me personally. I think a lot of people have said that as well. But, I mean, if you put it in the corner, people rarely, notice it because it kind of just looks like something you'd have in your room anyway, like an air freshener. But getting into the actual components of the device itself, you can see right here that it has removable little plates for the, it's basically like the speaker grill. And these range from about $20 to $40 for different ones, and they have some pretty cool ones. They have ones that are metallic. The ones that come standard with this are more of like a fabric, like a white fabric, and it's not bad, but they do look a little bit cheap on the outside. These pieces do, but you can get those replaced if you'd like. And it comes with 3 speakers, so you have one here, one on the front, and one on the side, as well as microphones that pick up your voice fairly well. So, I mean, spec-wise, this thing is pretty straightforward. There's nothing crazy. There's nothing that makes it ridiculously new or, extremely, extremely different from anything else on the market. The microphones are probably better than any other one that you'd find and any other device, but that's pretty much the only feature I'd say that's very different besides the software. And now we move into the powering on section. So I'm going to go ahead and take this 6-foot cable that comes with it and plug it in. So yes, with the cable, it's going to annoy some people. I'm not a big cable guy myself. It's kind of this flat type of cord, so it looks almost like back in the old days, like the DSL, you know, the little modems that you'd hook up, you know, the little cables that you hook up to your modem. And I don't really not like it, but I was kind of hoping it'd be a little bit more, you know, self-contained as far as power. I wouldn't mind charging it for like a week and then unplugging it from power and putting it wherever I want around the room rather than always having to be connected. Alright, and it powered on. So if you have it connected with your network already, it'll just be good to go starting that way. So we're going to go ahead and move this off to the side. And here we go. Okay, so going into what the Google Home can do well. Now, you obviously get prompts by saying the keywords, "Hey Google," and as you can see right here at the top, you had a little bit of a, it's actually listening to me right now. So when you keep talking and saying things that aren't commands, it kind of gets confused and it says, "I don't understand," or "Can you please repeat that?" or "There was a glitch," something along those lines. And it gets kind of annoying because sometimes you'll be having a conversation and want to talk to it, and if you put too much, it just doesn't understand. So go ahead and tap it to cancel it, and I'm gonna say the keyword and give it a simple command so you could see about some of the things it does well. So, okay Google, play music by Sia.
Playing Sia on Google Play Music.
I don't like this song, but you can raise music by touching it. This is actually a capacitive display, so you can touch it and go ahead and raise it by moving. And you can just tell it to stop by saying, "Okay Google, stop, please, for the love of God." Okay, cool. So that's that.
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that yet.
Did you see that little glitch there? That's not supposed to happen. It's supposed to be like, okay, and then stop. So that is one of the little caveats I have. It's precise at times, but that's honestly the first time I've had it get something wrong with music. So that's a little something. Let's try it with maybe a different song. Hey Google, play music by J. Cole.
Alright, playing J. Cole on Google Play Music.
Hey Google, stop. See? That worked no problem. So, I mean, it depends. For the most part, when you're shouting it from across the room and the music's really going, it sometimes doesn't pick you up. But I say for the most part, if you raise your voice just a little bit, it could definitely pick you up. So that's pretty cool. So music on this thing is pretty straightforward. You could also raise and lower the volume by your voice. You don't have to necessarily touch this little thing that, you know, changes the volume. So for example, let's say I'm listening to that song again. So, hey Google, play music by J. Cole.
Alright, playing J. Cole on Google Play Music.
So right now it's about at 50%, 60%, which is actually pretty high. So I'm going to tell it to lower it down. Hey Google, lower the volume to 25%. So as you can see, it jumped down there pretty substantially. So if you're talking with someone and it's being loud, you can just tell it to move up and down by a percentage, and it will. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so this one I find to be a little bit interesting. We're going to try it, see if it works. So, come on, get in the frame, be long enough. Okay, so right here is my lamp, which has my Philips Hue light in it, if I can get it. Yep, there's my Philips Hue light. So, very simply put, I'm going to tell Google to turn on my lights. And it's a smart light. The hub is located down in my living room, but that thing has house-wide coverage. So the only thing that would be the variable would be this device itself. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it to turn on the light, and hopefully it turns on. Hey Google, turn on the lights.
You got it. Turn
Yes.
the two lights on.
Yes. Okay, cool. It worked. I was hoping it would for the demo, but I have to tell you, more often than not, when I try it, it works about, I'd say, to be fair, about half the time. It works about 50% of the time. Which isn't bad, I suppose, but when I'm carrying something, when I have something in my hands, and it's like, hey, Google, turn on the lights, and it's like, I didn't understand that. Can you repeat? Or there was a glitch. And it's some of the most infuriating stuff, because you have to...
I don't understand.
You can stop now. Stop it. It's some of the most infuriating stuff to deal with when it's telling you it's glitching out and you need it the most. So that is one thing that I still find annoying, but it happens. It happens. There's not really that much you can do with it, besides some of these smart home functions and the OK Google stuff. Nope, stop. So we're going to go ahead and try to turn off the lights. As you can see the glow over here from the lights still on. OK Google, turn off the lights.
You got it. Turning two lights off.
Alright, so it worked. And that's pretty much a quick rundown of what the Google Home is capable of as far as music and lights. Now we move on to general questions. So you could ask it things like, hey Google, who's the President of the United States?
The President of the United States of America is Donald Trump.
Okay, so there's something. You have an answer to a question. Not really a question, but alright, let's give it another one, see how it does on translating. Hey Google, how do you say I am very hungry in French?
J'ai très faim.
Ooh, c'est très faim. Okay, cool. Awesome. I don't speak French, so I hope that's right. Anyone who speaks French, let me know. But it uses the Google Translate engine, but it could be a little bit iffy. I think people who know who use Google Translate, it doesn't really quite work that well, but it does, you know, verbally speak them out to you. It won't go slower. It speaks pretty quickly, so that's probably one of the issues I have. Be like, can you repeat that slower? It doesn't. Same speed. But that is something cool that it does. You could also say, hey Google, wake me up tomorrow at 7 a.m.
There, your alarm's set for tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Boom, done. So the alarm on this thing is actually fairly loud. It gives like a subtle beeping sound that progressively gets louder. So that's something that this thing does very well. It works very good for an alarm clock. It can set reminders for you as well. And yeah, that's pretty much a rundown of all the functionality that you're going to get out of this thing to start. However, I will show you one more where I am able to get Google Chrome to play something on my TV. Alright, now the moment of truth. We're going to go ahead and see the Google Chrome work alongside the Google Home for a hands-free option. So, okay, let's give it a shot. Hey Google, play the latest Magikarp used to fly video on the Chromecast.
Sure, playing latest Magikarp used fly videos from YouTube on the TV.
Oh, and it did it. That's awesome. So yeah, it works. It works almost every time, but it never fails to make me go, whoa! It was the future. So yeah, that's. Oh, hey Google, pause the video. Yeah, let's see. That's so cool, and it's pretty much one of the biggest features you have with it. Unfortunately, though, when you say turn off, it only turns off the Chromecast, so you're left with a screensaver. You have to actually go physically turn off your TV. So that is probably one of the only things that I'd say is a little bit unrefined with it. But I mean, it turns it on, so you know, just get up and turn off your TV, or reach for the remote. And yeah, that is probably one of the cooler features, alongside with the music ones that I mentioned earlier. And now we get into the conclusion. All right, now do I recommend the Google Home? Yes, and I'll explain why. For all intents and purposes, this device has only been on the market for about 4 months. I've had mine for about 3, and I gotta say that I have experienced some glitches and some things that make it not so fun to use at times, but for the most part, it does its job. It works. I'm pretty sure the Amazon version, the Alexa, she works about 90% of the time. This thing works, I'd say, about 75 to 80% of the time. It doesn't pick you up all the time, and if it does, it might say there was a glitch, something happened, something's up with the servers. It just tries to give you an excuse to let you know that there's something not right working with it as far as, connection or whatever else, which is fine for now. It's still in its infancy stage as you know, a product. It's still being developed, they're still giving it patches, and for that reason, I think the $150 price tag that this thing goes for is well worth the value. There's a lot more development coming to this thing, whereas the Alexa, which is Amazon's, you know, equivalent, has been out for about 3 years now. So it's starting to crest, in my opinion. So you're going to have a lot more longevity with this, and you're going to see a lot more devices be compatible with Google Home as it gets better over time. So final verdict, yes, I would pick one of these up as soon as possible, because it's just, once you see what you can connect to it and how it functions around your home, you're never going to do anything the same way again. There's not a day that goes by that I really don't ask this thing at least one thing. So yeah, very useful, awesome tech to have, and it's just extremely useful, and I like it. But it does at times give hiccups, so that's something to keep in mind. It's not fine-tuned, but I feel like it will get there eventually. And yeah, that'll do it for this review. This is Chris from CastleTech. Leave a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't, and have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.